What's his Gene McNeely has helped us out a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've had a lot of
Honda
help.
Gene.
Yeah, we've had a lot of help from the T6 people, Warbird community. I'm going there asking, things that you don't file in your pilot's manual or in your checklist. We've got to just ask the guys, get it from them, and have them give us feedback on everything.
Sure, I know. I taught at Oklahoma State, and we bought sims here and there, and they weren't full motion. They were really flat training devices that we could log time in. And I know getting in the back end of this thing in programming, you had to be a code writer to get in there and change these parameters. It was all Greek to me, as they say. I couldn't just hundreds of pages of code that you go in and change how sensitive the ailerons or how the flaps work and air speeds and stall speeds. And so you guys get in there and make this T6 sim fly as realistic as possible.
Oh yes, the code base is quite extensive. Whenever we can, for let's say commercial clients, if there's off-the-shelf commercial training software, we can tie into that for part of the cost savings. Well, let's say the airframe.
What is the core simulator? Are you using an off-the-shelf simulator package like X-Plane or Microsoft's Flight Sim, or is it what's at the core of the flight?
We use primarily PrepR 3D. It's a Lockheed Martin product, or X-Plane 11, or X-Plane 12, depending on what the customer wants. I personally prefer PrepR 3D. It's a little easier for me to develop in, but whatever the customer wants, as long as the license is appropriate for their use case, we can develop in almost anything.
total force.
In fact, probably when you get ready to fly in your backyard, you'll have an audience of the neighbors coming in to see how much fun you're having.
Well, we've got a great audience here today. I'm looking all the way down to the far end of the fences. A great crowd here at Paradise City already, Danny.
Oh, we love our crowds. Now, with the advanced sensors and the controls, they ensure a smooth landing every time. Now, talk amongst yourselves or use your imagination. How do you think the pivotal aircraft is going to touch down and land? I'll let you see it firsthand, in person, and you'll see the importance of why we talked about that keel at the bottom of the aircraft, a very strengthened part of the aircraft. By the way, 2 control sticks, 2 joysticks, as they gave me a cockpit tour. Thanks, Charlie, for doing that for me. A joystick on the right and another redundant on the left. In the event the right joystick malfunctions for any reason, you can click a switch and it will transition over another system on the left joystick. And it has those features featured in all of the aircraft, backup systems and double backup systems. If you want to see it in person, the Future of Flight Plaza, which is located on the grounds here and depicted in all of your information magazines, that's where you can go see it. That's where you can ask questions, and the simulator. Okay, watch this. Watch how it's going to land. Test pilot Sabrina. Think about the keel. Camera on board. Agility. And a gentle touchdown right on the chalk line. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Let's all go out and buy one.
Look at that.
What a
look
way
into
to
the
open up
future.
this afternoon's show. Thank you to all the team from Pivotal Aircraft. That'll get your attention. By the way, as you were making your estimate of how test pilot Sabrina was going to land, did you figure that out? Maybe some of you did. If you talked it over, maybe that was one of your estimates or your guess, and you saw it in person.
Well, that's the future, folks, but I do unfortunately have to give her big X. She's scratched because she landed just before the Stol line, and if you land 1 inch before the Stol line, it doesn't count. So it was a nice short landing, but it was short.
Now,
And we're
wait a
gonna have
minute.
to go out
Jughead,
now and
hold it,
re-scratch it.
protest.
What's that?
We're going this way tonight,
Yeah,
right?
you don't get to argue with the
So
judge.
she
It's a
didn't go
scratch.
short of the line. She went just 1.5 inches over the line, and she's the winner so far.
Wait a minute now.
Jughead, don't step on my axe, baby.
She erased the line. The line's gone. They're going to have to go out there and re-chalk it real quick.
Yeah, we're going to have a slight re-chalking ceremony going on here. Flipper's buying the first round. Pivotal's buying the second round.
Folks, we're so happy you came over tonight. This is a great bit of entertainment. And please don't leave early.
There
Oh,
she
there's
is. Sabrina, nice
Sabrina.
job.
Thank you, Sabrina. Wow, thank you to the entire crew. What a demo.
So everybody stick around. Not only do we have the Stol coming up, we've got the shooters. They're going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane at about 5,000 feet. We have Arhythmia.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paradise City, Sun and Fun 51 in 2025, where we are having more fun. My name is John Jughead Council, and it's my honor to be back to serve as the MC of your Stol Invitational here. Of course, we've got a legend that I've been so honored to work with, Danny Hollywood Clisham over here helping me out. Give him a big hand and a welcome. You are a classic, sir. So here is what's going to happen. Paul, where did you... Now, I have planted beer at an air show and got it to grow, but where'd the corn come from?
The
We're
corn
not
came
in
from the
Iowa.
corn vendor right behind us. It's $3 an ear, and this ear of corn is hot and got butter on it. And who wants it? The first guy that wants this corn, you can get it. Come on down and get
There
it.
you go.
But everybody else can get your ear of corn right over there for $3. There's a bunch of food vendors right across the way. Get your food real quick before the Stol begins.
So how many people here have ever been to a Stol contest or seen one online with National Stol or seen it here at Sun and Fun? A few of you. Well, it is always great to have more people because backcountry flying is the fastest part of general aviation. It is growing leaps and bounds. That is due to just people wanting to get away and have more fun. It has to do with great new airplane designs that are coming out. It has to do with organizations like the RAF, the Recreational Easy for me to say, Recreational Aircraft Foundation, and of course Husky Aviat and their great airplanes. So what you're going to see is it's kind of like the aeronautical version of rodeo. Rodeo as a sport started because some cowboys got done working every day, and then they got to drinking, and then they got to bragging, and then they went to competing against each other. Well, this kind of happened in the airplane world. A bunch of bush pilots were done flying. They were sitting around talking about who could land the shortest, who could take off the shortest, who could get in and out of the most gnarly situation. And the next day they went out and they challenged themselves to a contest. And it has grown over the last 40, 50 years. Now we have a variety of independent Stol events, including the grandfather of them all up in Valdez, Alaska. We have the National Stol Series, which is all over the United States. You heard Ryan talking about it before the show. And we have Stol drag racing, where two airplanes line up side by side, race 2,000 feet, come to a complete stop across the line, turn around 180 degrees, race back 2,000 feet to the beginning, and the first one to come to a complete stop wins. Getting a little photo shoot up top. They got the Seneca with the door open. It looks like the Ghost Sky riding aircraft, and I've got a jump plane way up high as well. So what you are seeing our National Stol crew setting up out there are obviously the start-finish line. Between the checkered flags, they're putting down some new chalk because that is the target. That is where every takeoff. Four of them landed within 1 foot of the line. You show me where you can go find 45% of the pilot population who can accurately fly an airplane safely, that precisely, and touch within 1 foot. Here's the first of ours. He's a Florida boy. He's our only Florida boy, Mr. Warren Grobler from that beautiful 55-180 going down the line. This is our first series. This is Diesel. F-16 Air Force pilot has that beautiful 172 that's been converted to the tail wheel. Got the 0360 converted. Here is the man, the Mad Dog, Austin. He is one of the legends, one of the most successful competitors in us, and you will see some neat things out of not only his Husky, but his Uncle Jerry's right here. Clemens Insurance and Clemens Aviation always supporting everybody involved in Stol. If you need insurance for your airplane, they cover competition as well as all off-airport operations. Great to work with. So what we're going to do is we'll be launching the first 4 airplanes. They're going to come up to this line. The line judge is going to clear downwind, going to clear upwind. He's going to signal a go. That pilot's then going to bring the power all the way up. Now, this is not a competition here today. This is a demonstration, which means they will not be cheating quite as much as they might on a normal day. What are things they might do to max perform? They might have adjusted their timing. They might have had the engine leaned out as far as it'll go for the first 4 or 5 seconds of takeoff run. Some of them might be turning a little blue bottle on. Some of them may be angling into the wind. Some of them might throw an extra 30 pounds of ballast in the back seat of this buddy's airplane without him knowing. Warren, he's competing in the heavyweight class. This beautiful 150 is light. That is why it's not painted. It shines in the Florida sun about like his bald head. Thankfully, he wears a helmet or a hat most of the time. Oh, that is off at about 250 feet. How many of you noticed he started his takeoff roll with his flaps completely up? That's to reduce drag. He then, when it got time to rotate, guessed on the wind, his expected performance, he pulled all the flaps, lowered the tail, and that airplane said, no way. You just pulled 1 second too early, and with that, consolation prize is an extra 75 feet on his takeoff roll. He will not be happy with that. Let's see if Joel Diesel Dobson can top it. Miss Moxie's the plane. A little less horsepower, a little lighter airplane, good pull, and oh, about the same. But a beautiful job of staying in that very low transition, accelerating the airplane to a safe climbing speed once he gets airborne. A last check of the flight controls. The mags are good, the mixer's good, the fuel is set, the big 4 that can kill you. Check them every time before you take off. Spat is still with us, giving us guidance. Austin Clements, let's get this Mad Husky going. There we go, pretty good at about 160 feet. Now we have about a right quartering headwind, 45 degrees. But as you get closer to those trees, we have less and less wind blowing. There is definitely an eddy that's going to be rolling over those trees. We get it every time here. Hey, give him a stop here and let's get this flag cleared. I told you he was going to be cheating.
Remember, this is live. This is all live.
He probably just did that to show off his reverse pitching propeller and to make the old man run. There he is, setting the standard for the first round at about 130 feet. That's not bad, is it, folks?
Not bad at all.
Woo. All right. The nice thing is they've got the sun to their back this time. Tuesday night, these gentlemen were staring right into this sun. They had a great wind right down the runway, but today they're going to get into some dirty air right about this point. Warren's got it behind the power curve, dragging it to the line. Oh, that is a good. That is good. He blew smoke. That is as good as it gets. And it looks like the braking effort got him somewhere in about the 160 to 170 foot range out of a Cessna 180. Not bad. Whew. All right. I hate this getting old stuff. Anybody ever wanted to be a Stol MC? Here's your chance right now. I'll take a 30-second break.
And don't forget that after this, we've got more things going on. The Arhythmia Precision Paragliding team, they're going to be showing their stuff with precision flying. Also, the...
Well, Paul, here's Moxie coming in now. He may not know how well Warren did, but let's see if he can find that line or something close to it. Looking good, yes. Gave up about 20 feet, but I would be pretty happy with that, especially for a first pass, stopping up somewhere around 170 feet. Of course, we don't get to travel all over the continental United States putting on these great Stol events with wonderful support from our sponsors. We've got Sky Cowboys Aviation Equipment, Trail and Timber helping us out here today. Slow-mo Stol. Crosswired Electrical took care of all our base wheel bush camp electrical needs, and thank them for that. The Experimental Aircraft Channel is always telling our story, talking about our great planes and pilots. Now let's watch as Austin's bringing it in. About a 2-degree glide path. Slow. Oh! Nope. And that was short. You see the colonel, the line judge out there with the big X. That is no good.
And we got Mastery Brewing. Mastery Brewing, they're a small craft brewer in St. Pete.
Whew. All right. Long final. We're kind of running an extended pattern here to get a little bit of time. Sometimes at the competitions we can run it really tight. Sometimes when we're flying in the backcountry, you're forced to run it really tight. We've had some great forums over the last couple days talking about the differences between real-world bush flying and competition flying or recreational bush flying. And what it really boils down to is the risk. When you're getting paid, when there's somebody actually hurt out there you're trying to rescue, you're willing to take a little more risk. It means you have to take some more risk-averse actions to offset it. Jerry, a little long. He had the great takeoff, but he gave up 30 feet at the landing, and he is not going to be happy with that, I guarantee it. He had the best score Tuesday night out of this first group. Now our second group of aircraft, or B-Sorts, this is Mr. Doug Jackson. He is the founder of what is now the National Stol Series. The man that had the vision and was crazy enough to bring us all together and put it together about 5-6 years ago. This is the Badlands Traveler. Beautiful airplane. A little bit of a souped up 0360, monster shocks underneath that you'll see taken good advantage of. Patrick McIntyre in his beautiful yellow and white ran 7 taxiing out. Sheldon Hetherington and the Redbird Zenith. Woo! And there is the man from Dawson City, Yukon, the Crazy Canuck. No, we didn't pay a tariff to get him down here, and I'm not sure they're going to pay the tariff to let him back unless he wins. Oh, that one looked pretty good at about 130. That might be about our best takeoff. Keith Lang out of Alaska. This is the real working bush pilot, a very accomplished competition Stol pilot. He's got this Cub, which is really a fairly basic standard Cub, only 160 horse, but it's super light. Airplane that he's worked for years, so he knows it really well. And then he's got his new AP1 over in the Bushwheel Base Camp that I invite everybody to come take a look at. That airplane is giving us potentials of 4- and 5-foot takeoff runs and sub 10 to 12-foot landings potentially. So that one looked pretty good. What you don't know in the cockpit is your very best takeoff, you probably never knew the airplane came off the ground until 30, 40, 50 feet later. My best takeoffs I always think are terrible. It's not until you come back and look, where did the wheels really get off the ground? That was a pretty good effort. Here is a 3/4 scale Scorch. Levi Nugos out of Killeen, Texas. Oh! What happened? He got airborne and he touched again. So it's where he touched the last time. You'll notice that really long extension of the landing gear on that Storch. It's one of the disadvantages. Every airplane has its pluses and minuses, right? Well, that airplane actually starts to fly and he has to climb a foot to extend the gear all the way before the tires actually come off. He has brainstormed to try to figure out how to put like a cable latch on the gear so that when it flies, the gear come up, the wheels come up with it, and then release it to have full throw of his struts for landing. But he hasn't figured that out yet. He did win Tuesday night, though, and he's always been a competitor, but there are some real ringers in the unlimited category. And so Levi was pretty proud to take home the trophy for Tuesday night. Doug is out here just coming in over the fence as we've had enjoyed airplanes and coffee every morning out at the Bushwheel Base Camp. If you're camping with your airplane or you get here early, swing on by, get a free cup of coffee or 2 or 3 or however many you need. It's starting to get pretty late in the week. Not sleeping as much, especially after last night's incredible nighttime air show and pyrotechnics and the drones. It was incredible. All right, Doug's picking out that line. He's slowly getting the airplane slower, starting to go behind the power curve, feeding in some power, put some airflow over the wings and the tail. One last little burp. Okay, we're calling this good. In a competition, what we would do is we have high definition, high speed.
That was short. You see the
in the ground at the start-finish line. And I guarantee you right now we'd be going to Lexi in the booth, and they would review that, whether or not that's good. But we're here to have fun, aren't we, folks? So we're going to give it to Doug. Absolutely. All right, Keith, come on. Look at those leading edge slats. High AOA. Drop it. Good, good, good. Flaps are up on the brakes. And it's a little bit tougher with those heel brakes. Nice job, 110 feet. In the thick air down here in Florida with the grass, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Now you'll notice the Storch. He'll be able to come in at a fairly high deck angle as well. But like all the early German designs in World War II, there's 1,000 window panes. A lot of metal, he has to be looking around. This replica is powered by a Rotax. Gives him a little better look down over the cowl. He can look right out the sides, catch it, drop it. Yes, that's good. Get on those brakes, get on those brakes. Oh, yeah, baby, about 108. I like it. He is trying to hold second night of competition in his corner. Good job. Next, coming up in our beautiful Rans, gentleman out of Nebraska Midwest, this is Mr. Pat McIntyre. Only been competing with us a couple years, but he has definitely made his name known. Of course, the Rand series airplanes, whether it's the S6, the 7, the 20, have some really capable backcountry off-airport airplanes. If you want more of a cruiser, they have those models as well. We're going to get the first round. Give them a big round of applause. They can see you. They can hear you. That's it. Warranty proudly covered by Clemens Insurance. McFarland with that empty propeller up front. Miss Moxie, good work, good work. Lift Aviation Shoes giving him the feel he needs on those rudder pedals. Oh. Next time, you'll get him. You'll get him, kid. We called him kid because when he started doing this, he was like 16 or 17, and he was beating the old pros. He's still a kid in our mind, but he's a grown, really, really accomplished pilot and mechanic. There you go, Pat. That looks good at a sub. Looks like they're going to give him about 1 and a nickel. All right, so a tricycle gear airplane, we still measure everything off of the main gear. Just like on a tailwheel airplane, everything is off of the main gear. One of the advantages of a tricycle gear airplane is you can generate a lot of angle of attack on rotation. An advantage of the Zenith with that upsloping lower tail is you can really generate a lot of angle of attack. And there it is to get everyone. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Yeah, Sheldon. Nice work. At 100 horsepower, that little airplane, I think, just about schooled the class on that takeoff. A multi-time Valdez champion. He's won national Stol several times, knocking off the legendary Steve Henry. Let's watch what this Valdez Special Chinook will do. It's a 617 Chinook. All right, that was about 55 feet. How many think that was good? I hate to tell you, but you're all wrong. And I guarantee you right now, Dan is not happy with that. With the nice wind, and it's starting to die down, I would love to see that airplane operating in the 35, 40-foot range. You put 20 knots of wind right down the nose of that airplane, and it'll operate in the sub-20-foot range. All right, Pat, bringing that beautiful fairly stock Rans in, dropping the flaps off, using that Acme shocks and the Alaska bush wheels to get us some good suspension, help protect the airframe, and we've got a nice sub-100-foot landing. So that Chinook, it looks like an ultralight, doesn't it? Believe it or not, he has, I think, 2 of those that he uses in Dawson City in the Yukon, which is about as far north in Canada as you can get, as working airplanes in his Bush company. He has a 185, he has a Cub, and he has 2 Chinooks. And I've seen pictures with Chinooks with half a moose in the back. He's got ones with 2 seats. He runs his trap line with them all winter on skis. There may or may not be a picture posted this winter where he landed it on the roof of his barn. That was about 35 feet. He didn't full stop it. It was just a touch and go to check the snow level on the top of his pitched barn. It gets cold, you get bored in Canada in that winter. Come on, Sheldon, there you go. Nice, smooth, controlled touchdown now onto the brakes. He had a great takeoff, not quite as good on the braking, but it's still going to end up at about probably a sub-280 total run. Because in a competition, it is your takeoff added to your landing, and it has to be on the same pass. So if you scratch or you land short, and you just had your very best takeoff, it all gets thrown out. You will definitely see that Mr. Reynolds comes in steeper. He has absolutely the best views down out of his airplane. Look at that rudder work. When you are this slow at high AOA, that rudder is your primary control for not only yaw, but roll. A little burst of power to catch it. Between the nose and the tail, oh, it's 54 feet. So a fairly balanced approach and landing. Took off and landed both at about 55 for a total of 110-ish. So in a competition, there's a lot of psychological aspects to it. Do you go for it aggressive at the beginning, or do you put a conservative pass in that guarantees you get a score on the board? Does the guy behind you or the gal behind you know you scratched or not? So Warren's got one in the books. Now I think he's probably going to be a little more aggressive with it. But his takeoff, he knows he pulled too early. So he's got to make an adjustment there. There's Doug in that beautiful Badlands Traveler. Woo! Lone Wolf Stol, looking good there, Keith. And Mr. Levi. There we go. That was a great adjustment. It's easy for me to critique it because if I'm standing out here 0 knots in 1G. But you notice when he pulled the flaps and he started to lower his tail, the airplane took off before the tail hit the ground, didn't it? Which means he was off on his timing by about a quarter second. That's how tight and that's how finesse it takes to win a competition or just to max perform your airplane. Oh! Joel went for it, and he was literally only a quarter second too early. That airplane tried to fly. Now, Austin's going to line up into the wind, get a little advantage, turn 1 or 2 more knots of crosswind into a headwind component. When I do this with my 170, I pick an angle that I think, okay, I'm going to get airborne at a given distance. I pick where that angle is going to occur about 75% across the runway, and that's what I will aim for. Oh, and he got it good. He nailed that one. As Jerry comes up to the line, he's seen everybody take off before him. He knows exactly what he's got to do. Oh, that was good, but that was also about a half second late. He had a lot more that he could have gotten out of that airplane, but I'm telling you, you can go fly 50 passes a week practicing, and that's what makes the difference between winning these contests and not. I have lost to the same guy that I've beaten. We have traded back and forth several times, and most of the time it boils down to how many practice passes have you done in the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. How do you get that practice time? Every time you get in your airplane, I don't care what you're flying, predict where your takeoff performance is going to get you off the ground, practice a max performance technique of some sort, and soon you will be flying much closer to the safe edge of your boundary of your airplane's capabilities. Warren put it right on the line. Again, he is being Mr. Consistent on that, and a very typical about the same stopping distance. That tells me Warren's been doing a little bit of practicing as well. He claims he hasn't as much as he would like, is according to the story last night after 3 margaritas. We would also like to thank Operation Airdrop for their great efforts, especially in the North Carolina area during last year's hurricanes, using small general aviation aircraft and even mid-sized ones and helicopters to help deliver emergency supplies. Patriot Aircraft has a great display of their wonderful airplanes down at the Bushwheel Bush Camp, and I invite you to come check those out. Come on, buddy, let's drop that beautiful, there it is, Moxie's looking good, Sportsman Stol, VGs, Alaska Bush Wheels. He has turned that little tricycle gear 172 into a nice backcountry machine. All right. Come on, Austin. I think he's starting to feel the pressure. I think he's working too hard, or maybe he's found a girlfriend. That's what it is. 24-year-old kid, he found a girlfriend. He's not practicing his flying enough. That one's good. That one is good. Can we get it into reverse? No, but still gets it stopped at about 130. Now, yes, he has reverse pitch on that propeller. We heard Jerry use it. We saw Jerry use it. You would think, well, how hard is it? Why don't you just hit the ground every time and throw it into reverse? Well, it's not that simple. Because when you're touching down, sometimes you're touching down with your hand on the throttle. You've ripped it to idle. Sometimes you're in the process of bumping the throttle when you touch down. Sometimes your hand's on the flap handle. And once you get back to onto the ground, you got to get the airplane in an attitude to safely go in reverse, get the prop pulled all the way back, kick the safety off, get the switch activated, bring the power back up, and do all that in about 1.5 seconds. Or about 30% of the time it took me to talk about it. But that was another good effort by Jerry, being Mr. Consistent there. Are we having fun at National Stol Drag? Sun and Fun 2551. Woo! Thank you to Dennis Dunbar and all the great volunteers here to help us bring the Stol Invitational back to Paradise City. Go get him, Patrick. Hey, no texting and taxiing. Good job, Sheldon. You got him. Come on, shorten it up. Shorten it up. There you go, Doug. That was a good one. That was definitely better than his first, and that was a solid takeoff. Let's see if Keith can match it here. His Acme Aero shocks won't help him on his takeoff. But one of the keys to landing these airplanes is you're trying to put energy from the impact into the airplane safely. We do that with suspension. We do that with low-pressure tires running about 8 PSI in those bush wheels to help slow us down. We're also landing with the brakes on. Yeah, even in a tail dragger airplane, even when we compete on pavement, we are almost always landing with the brakes applied hard. Oh, a little bit left. That left tire just wanted to hang a bit. Of course, the Storch real world one was built in pre-World War II. Obviously, the Germans built it exactly for this purpose, as a utility Stol airplane. Moving people in and out, conducted rescue missions, spy missions, taking out wounded troops. There you go, buddy. Nice, nice. Lower that nose, get that thing flying. All righty. Killeen, Texas, I think you're going to be trying to take home a trophy again. So as we come back in, we've got this nice, beautiful, safe approach. It's about as safe of a flying environment as you can get to go out and max perform your airplane. But this is not where we learned to max perform our airplanes. We learned how to do it up at 2,000 to 3,000 feet. When I train somebody to fly a new airplane, they get 2 instruments, the oil pressure gauge and the tachometer. Everything else is covered except the window, and we fly around pitch and power settings for about 10 hours. And then we'll fly for 2-3 hours straight with what would be the stall horn going off, except I tape it up too so I don't have to listen to it, even though I'm 3/4 deaf and I only hear it half the time as it is. And we get really comfortable flying the airplane, feeling the airplane, listening to the airplane. Because when you're on approach, when you're on takeoff, the airspeed indicator is not doing anything for you. Or if you're one of our pilots who has a miles per hour, a speedometer as he calls it, in his airplane. All right, as a proud Air Force fighter pilot, I'd just like to announce that that's the Navy who's showing up to the fight 5 hours late. Thank you. But they aren't looking at the airspeed. They are feeling the airplane. They are replicating what they have done hundreds and hundreds of times. Oh! He made it! He didn't get it? All right, he didn't make it, but he came really close. What you notice, though, is when that airplane got really slow, he was behind the power curve to save it with power, and he basically got 99.9% of the way. He was at an altitude that if that airplane quit flying and dropped to the ground, it was going to safely touch down in a 3-point attitude. Just like that right there. Oh! But he got the post. All right. We laugh, and we can laugh because the pilot's fine, right? But there's risk in everything you do. And we were talking about that risk management, and that's a guy that makes a living flying in the bush country. And I have flown, I do about 90% of my flying in Washington State off airport. I don't know if it's metal or fiberglass, but they'll go down and take a look at it. And it comes down to risk management and what you're focusing on. And even the pros sometimes are going to have a slight mismanagement. Oh, there you go. Levi. You know, Jimmy Johnson spun out more times than he won. The best fighter pilots I ever fought against still sometimes screwed up in a fight, put their airplane out of control, or put it into a corner that they couldn't recover from and maintain the offensive advantage. Too close to the edge or got a little focused on the line, maybe looking to the right because the wind's from the right, lost awareness of that flagpole. A good lesson for everybody out there. All right, Pat. The wind is starting to pick back up. What's nice right here now is at every wind shock, they're all doing the exact same thing. Because there's a lot of times that we go into places that the wind's doing different things at each end of a runway or each end of a sandbar or there's a one-way bar in and a one-way bar out. Oh, he nailed that. There's times we have to take off with a tailwind based on how the geometry of our competition site is set up. Which means you have to be proficient and knowledgeable with your airplane's performance, not in just the ideal conditions, but sometimes in the less than ideal conditions. There's our Twin Otter that our shooter jumpers will be coming out of soon to add to the show after Sheldon gets this beautiful Zenith Redbird going one more time. A little bit of right aileron with the big rotation, a bunch of right rudder, keeps it right on center line, and a nice 124-foot takeoff. Dan is taking a big cut, about 20 degrees off. Look at that wind, rock that right wing up already. They're waiting for the spacing, they're waiting for the line judge to say go, there it is. Oh! Okay, how many noticed that on his first takeoff, he picked up the tail to a low angle of attack roll and then rotated? But on this takeoff, he left it in a three-point attitude. The wing, create as much lift as possible at the very get-go. Try to get up out of the drag of this St. Augustine grass, making different adjustments to how he flew his airplane to max perform it based on the conditions of what he's experiencing. A little sinker there that Pat caught nicely. Gonna float it past the line. Not too bad. A nice smooth touchdown and good, consistent braking. Left that tail in a really nice position the whole time. After the show, I invite you to come on down to the Bushwheel Base Camp. Mastery's Brewing down there has been gracious enough to give us some cold just to enjoy. We sure appreciate them. Of course, you'll see out here wearing helmets, which is super important when you're flying off airport or flying in competitions. It's not required at the demonstration. It is required in our competitions, and I can't encourage that enough. You know, I wear my helmet playing hockey, on my motorcycle, on my bicycles, when I'm snow skiing, when I'm kayaking. It only makes sense that I have it on when I'm flying, because where I'm flying, sometimes my emergency landing point is put in the fuselage between two 100-foot cedar trees. Sheldon's going to bring this one in nice and low. Going to use that wing and the super thick cord on the Zenith. Get stable down here. Hopefully not get too much of a burble off the beginning of the tree line right through there. Those leading edge slats helping slow it down. Oh, and just a little bit of a float again. But he's across the line safely and stopping in around probably about 220 feet. And if anybody's trying to get, there's probably somebody here that's traveled further than Dawson City, Yukon. Anybody here in the crowd that's traveled more than, say, 5,000 miles to get here? Anyone? I'm sure we got some folks that have come in from overseas. Where? Texas, yeah. That's like half the size of Alaska and about half the size of the Yukon. Sorry. Look at that. Forward stick, full last stick, touchdown. Did you see that? He went full forward stick, full back stick, and all that started at 10 feet. And the airplane went down, back, touched, bounced once, and stopped. Woo! That is something. Hey, is that all we get? No, that's not all you get. That is sit back down. Sit down. That is not all you get. We've got
all right, John
Arhythmia.
Council, thank you so much. We're going to the skydivers now.
We got the chutes getting ready to come. We got Arhythmia going. We've got the drone show. We've got the balloon basket glow. It's going to get good. Danny,
All
I'm
eyes
tired.
overhead,
Can you take it
ladies and
away?
gentlemen, one of the team members that have opened up the show during the main day with our national anthem, Chip Boland, part of the Shooters team. He has the microphone.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is my honor and pleasure. This is our hometown show. Most of the shooters are from around here. And if you look skyward, you'll see our twin otter from Skydive City in Zephyr Hills, way overhead at 5,000 feet. Now, folks, we're going to have 6 jumpers exiting tonight. We're going to have 6 jumpers. Now, folks, they've all exited from the same altitude and opened it relatively the same time, so they're going to try to create horizontal and vertical separation so they can land one at a time right back here at Show Center. Now watch, you'll see them turn to lose altitude. They'll pull back on their steering toggles at the same time to slow the rate of descent. You might even see 1 or 2 of them spiraling in a very tight turn to lose altitude quickly. Now our team, folks, has jumped from the beaches of the Bahamas to the battlefields of Normandy to the stadiums of the NCAA and the greens of the PGA. Ladies and gentlemen, we have demonstrated at events just like this all over the nation and, in fact, the world, and we are honored to be here today. Now, folks, our number 1 jumper with the red, white, and blue canopy is the leader of our team, Keith Walter, and he's got over 5,000 jumps. Former Golden Knight and leader of the United States Special Operations Command Paracommandos and a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, Special Forces Green Beret. As he sets up for his landing, let's hear it for Keith Walter. Woo! That's the way it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Our number 2 jumper carrying the Gold Star flag is Scott Callentine. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott is the most experienced jumper on our team with over 12,500 jumps. As Scott sets up for his landing, let's give him a big round of applause. There you go, Scott. All right. Our number 3 jumper is setting up for her approach, carrying a pink streamer. She's the wife of Keith, the leader of our team, and we call her the boss. Ladies and gentlemen, with over 4,300 jumps, let's hear it for Yvette Walter. Oh, she's going to come down right here in the center. Look at that. There you go. Yay, Yvette. Our number 4 jumper with the red, white, and blue banner is Keith Hanley, a former Special Forces Green Beret, retired Lieutenant Colonel with over 3,800 jumps. Keith Hanley! Woo! That's the way it's done. Our number 5 jumper with the U.S. banner, Star Spangled Banner, over 3,100 jumps. He's an exhibition professional. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Paul Sessions as he comes in for his approach. There you go. All right, Paul. And last but not least, our 6th jumper is Ken Ates, another retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, Special Forces Green Beret. Ken has over 3,000 jumps himself. He's carrying the POW MIA flag. As long as there are men and women missing in action or held prisoner of war, they will not be forgotten. That is our pledge. As Ken sets up, he's such a showman. I think he wanted to be the last jumper so he could just hang up there and show everybody his skill. He's just holding into the wind. Look at him. Let's hear a big round of applause for our last jumper, Ken Ates. There it is. Woo! Welcome back, Ken. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us. Another great show lined up ahead of us. Take care and have a great day.
A big round of applause, Chip Bolden, the guy that knows what he's talking about because he is under canopy most of the time. Thank you, Chip, for doing that double duty on the ground and in the air. The team will continue to be featured at the beginning of our main shows throughout the week, bringing in the American flag under canopy with our various singers singing our national anthem live and in person. Well, one thing we have, as well as spirit and friendliness and mellowness and a Jimmy Buffett type of attitude, is a variety here. Now we're going to change the variety once again, and we're not afraid of twilight or darkness. We encourage it. You have just witnessed skydivers coming out of an airplane and making their way to the ground. Now, this is going to be the opposite. The Arhythmia team will have the powered backpacks. They'll have a canopy. They'll start from the ground with a running start, rev up their engines, billow out the parachute, and ascend from the ground up. So skydiving has a variable. You can do it the way it's just been done, or you can do it this way. Now, John Isley is the team leader. They have been around flying exhibits at main large shows around the country. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. In addition to their precision formation flying that you're going to see, they'll also, like a lot of formation acts, they'll go into the head-on or collision series of maneuvers. It is an aerial ballet. It will be augmented by LED lights. That's the light on the round circle on the engine cage. While the team is preparing, we'd like to remind you that here at Paradise City, tomorrow night, Friday night, will be our finale performance. So make sure you come back and join us at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Do not leave now. We still have a variety of acts. We're going to light off some of the hot air balloons on the ground. You'll see the various paint schemes in the aircraft as they're lit up with the burners. And the Starlight drone team will be coming in under darkness. And if you were here last night, you knew what an imaginative performance they put on last night. It was absolutely breathtaking, thrilling, imaginative, and show business personified. There's the LED lights that will augment the team. Doing the last minute checks on the proper RPM for their propulsion device. Since the temperatures are so pleasant now, the sun has gone down, the breeze is great. Do not leave early. We had some people that got a little antsy last night, actually Tuesday night, and they missed the finale. So stay with us. There may be a little delay as we wait for darkness, but it won't be much, and it will be worth your while not to rush off. The entertainment continues here. All right, here's the takeoff that requires a bit of landing gear action. And that, of course, are the feet and the legs. Canopy up, forward speed, and liftoff. All white canopy. Into the wind, full throttle, and liftoff. Now, because of their tremendous showmanship, they are and will remain visible to us throughout their sky dance. We are presenting Arhythmia, a team of highly skilled paramotor instructors. They are from throughout the United States as they fill up the sky. They'll be approaching on their parade pass. As they go by, they will be able to hear your applause. They can hear you over their radio. The louder you cheer, the better and tighter they're going to fly, so you can get loud. And, of course, they'll hear it in their headset. A paramotor is an ultralight flying machine that you wear like a backpack. You saw that. With about a week of proper training, paramotors are easy to fly, easy to transport, and easy to maintain. Beginner pilots can take off and land within an area about the size of a football field, and then disassemble the paramotor small enough to fit in a small car. Augmented with flares. That is showmanship. Arhythmia in the sky, the nation's premier paramotor demonstration team. The mission of the team is to share the sport of paramotoring, all the while entertaining people with different backgrounds and inspiring them to learn more about the purest form of recreational flying imaginable. Team now doing the stack off on your left. That's the precision formation they're doing. They perform at events throughout the country. Each pilot represents a school where they can teach you how to fly a paramotor. And get a load of this, even if you don't have a pilot's license, you've never flown an airplane, with about a week's training, you can learn how to run into the sky and fly a paramotor for yourself. Arhythmia is led from the bottom of the stack by our friend John Isley. He's got a paramotor school, Par Americana, located in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. In the stack also, Alexis Quintana, Justin Fox. They're from Leading Edge PPG in Schoolcraft, Michigan. And finally at the top of the stack, Kyle Mooney from One Up Adventures in Lake Wales, Florida. That is imagination and showmanship. Arhythmia would like to thank the great Army of volunteers and staff that make this show morning, noon, and night. Makes it possible. They'd like to thank their supporters, Leading Edge PPG, Midwest Parajet, Nebraska Paramotors, One Up Adventures, Par Americana, Resurgence PPG, and Skyfield Flight Works. Performers John Isley, Alexis Quintana, Justin Fox, and Kyle Mooney. And a 360-degree dogfight turn in series. Now you watch for them to proceed out away from us, get the spacing that the trailing pilot, the third pilot in the series, has to have. Then they'll do the turn inbound. Eyes and cameras on the team as they come back in. All right, eyes and cameras once again, watch this. You have an idea what's going to happen, what they're going to do? The split. Now with the timing they need, the solo Arhythmia team member on your left. Team on your right sashays around doing a little sky dance. Everybody changes direction, heads back into center point. Watch the landing gear come down. Throttle gets closed. Little speed brake there on the tail skid. And a stand-up landing. Yeah, big round of applause if you will. Landing gear down.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That, what you smell, is showmanship. There's the burnout. They're going to get rid of all of their chemical through the exhaust. Oh, I love the smell of flares in the evening. It's the smell of entertainment. Off on your right. Slow speeds.
Woo, these winds are, I was just talking to them, and obviously these winds are challenging. We saw it with the big airplanes, and we're seeing it with the paragliders even more. Looks like he is up and okay, though.
No harm, no foul. And as the engines are quiet, the applause from up and down the flight line goes wild for the Arhythmia team.
Arhythmia, thank you.
Wow. Nice performance. Flares and smoke, lights and precision.
Well, Danny, so talking to the Arhythmia pilot that landed there, you saw she had problems on the getting airborne. She has to fly that wing above her, and the air is spoiling over these trees, and you saw the canopy rolled off on her. They had to reset it. She got airborne, and she's the lightest out of them. She's affected by the wind the most. She was cleared to join the rest of the formation. She went to the east, back to the west, and she made a great aeronautical decision-making and said, no, this is too much wind for me to safely be able to fly today. The guys are a little bigger. Some of them are just super skinny like this way, and the wind just blows around them. Yeah, I'm jealous. But great job. Arhythmia, stickers up front for the kids. Excellent job.
All right, now we want you to do this. Remember, I told you just a few minutes ago, do not leave because the nighttime sky is going to light up with so many drones, it'll be hard to count them. And not just flying in the sky, but putting artistry in the sky with a number of different colored formations depicting different poses in the sky. Now, I could tell you from Tuesday night what they're going to be, but I want you to see it in person. Oh, in the meantime, let's fire off some of the balloons for
That's right, everyone. We're
so
excited.
we see people leaving now. We see people leaving now, but please do not leave, do not leave, do not leave. We are ready to entertain you. We are waiting for the balloons to be able to.
Well, that's right, right
I
here
can
in
hear
Paradise
that.
City.
Right, okay.
Danny, I can feel the heat.
We're
Feel the
excited
heat.
to have you here
On
today.
that
It's a
glow
Global Air
that's
Show.
behind us, in front of us, waiting for darkness, is the Starlight multi-ship drone team. Don't go. I'm begging you, don't go. We had some of our great guests bugging off Tuesday night. I just said, you missed our finale. It's a nice night.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for having us out here at Sun and Fun this year. Obviously, you guys are seeing all the trouble everybody's having with. Obviously, everybody sees the trouble everybody's having with the wind this evening. So we're out here to just show you guys some of the stuff we do. What you're going to see today is we got 6 balloons out here this afternoon. Trust me, we would rather be having the balloons inflated. We'd rather be putting on a big show, but we wanted you guys to have the opportunity to see us. You guys are more than welcome to get up next to the balloons. The guys love to talk about it. What you're seeing there, every single burner is about 14 million BTUs of heat. The average balloon is standing 90 feet tall. And the average balloon can lift about 5 to 6 passengers with what we're having out here this evening. So you guys get around the pilots, ask them what they would like. They love talking about the sport. We're going to try to give you guys an example. So everybody, we're going to do a all burn. If you guys got your cameras out, we're going to do an all burn in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, let them cool off a little bit. Believe it or not, while you're flying the balloon, we only burn for about 2 seconds. And it heats up a balloon 90 feet tall in about 2 seconds. So hot air balloon is the oldest form of aviation. It's invented in the late 1700s by French brothers, the Montgolfier brothers. The top section of our balloon is still called an envelope to this day because they were actually envelope makers. So you guys ready? Let's do a twinkle burn for these guys. You ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. No. So normally when we inflate these, you're going to see us out here with fans. Not quite as powerful as the powered parachutes behind us, but we'll inflate these on the ground with cold air. Once they get to about 80% full, then we stand them up with the heat. And then from there on, believe it or not, we only burn about 18 gallons an hour. So the burners that you're seeing right now are a secondary burner, which is a backup burner. Each. All right. Is that it?
Danny, this looks like a different show than we saw Tuesday night. This is going to be good. I hope nobody is leaving.
Starlight Drone Shows, Coloma, Michigan. If you want them at your event, starlightdroneshows.com. Now, your invitation to count how many drones are out there, it gets tough as the lights are on and off. Little Jimmy Buffett at Paradise City on a Thursday night. How do they do that? Landing gears down. Now watch how quickly they change formations and change colors. The late Jimmy Buffett, God bless you, great aviator, great author on the bestseller list, and God bless America. Is that a F-15? All right, what's next? Absolutely fantastic. You can applaud if you like. You can yell if you like. It's Paradise City. It's a party. It's dark. Nobody will know who you are. Look at the precision. Flag billowing in the wind. StarlightDroneShows.com, very much in demand all across the country. Doing multiple events on weekends at different locations because of the vast amount of machines and the crew members they have.
Danny, that one looks like me at work with Alaska Airlines flying the jet through the mountains.
I guess so. How appropriate in the state of Florida. Jimmy Buffett, singer, songwriter, best-selling author, devoted pilot, pirate, pilot and a pirate. A guy who had a ton of fun in his life. There's Florida at its finest.